Assalamu alaikum. The tremendous merits regarding the night of decree in the Quran are often spoken about, but I am sure that very few people have heard about the amazing mathematics regarding this night in the Quran. Chapter Al-Qadr, translated the decree or the destiny, and for some odd reason often translated as the power. It is one of the shortest chapters in the Quran, with only 5 verses. It is chapter 97, and it's about the night of decree. The enormous amount of authentic hadith and other sources about this night, called Laylatul Qadr, i.e. the night of decree, shows that it is in the last 10 days of the month of Ramadan, and that it is almost always on the odd-numbered nights of those 10 days, and usually it is on the 27th night. So from the start we believe that the number 27 will be the main mathematical key in this chapter about the night of decree. In our previous videos we saw how chapter 27 also revolves around the number 27, and we mentioned that the number 27 is one of the numerical keys in the Quran. One of the rare early references to the Quran mathematics is related to this chapter. The great scholar Al-Fakhr al-Razi recorded that the Prophet Muhammad's ﷺ great companion Umar radiallahu discussed the night of decree with Ibn Abbas radiallahu who is the greatest Quran scholar ever. In brief, amongst what Ibn Abbas mentioned are 2 things that are relevant to mathematics in the Quran. He mentioned how the number 7 appears often, and after stating some examples, he said that all this points to it being the 27th night of Ramadan, i.e. on the 7th night of those last 10 days. The other mathematical thing he mentioned, and which is quite remarkable, is the following. In this chapter, the phrase night of decree was mentioned 3 times. In Arabic, it is Laylatul Qadr, and it contains 9 letters. This makes the total number of letters for the mention of the night of decree in this chapter 27. With this logic, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh found mathematical support in the Quran for his opinion that it was on the 27th night, which is an opinion already based on authentic hadith. More recently, scholars have noticed the month of Ramadan is usually 30 days, and looking closer at this chapter we find that it contains 30 words. The first mention of the night of decree starts with the word night, and its order is number 27, counting backwards from the last word, i.e. from its start to the end of the chapter there are 27 words. The last reference to the night of decree came indirectly in the word hiya, which means it is, and counting from the start of the chapter this word is number 27. This is amazing, but it just continues, so let's move on. The very first word in this chapter is inna. The order of the 3 letters that make up this word in the common Hija'i alphabetic order is as follows, and their sum total is 27. So we look even closer at the 27th word in this chapter. As we said, it's the word hiya, meaning it is, and it's a 2-letter word in Arabic referring to the night of decree. Its first letter is the 26th letter of the common Hija'i alphabetic order, and its second letter is the 28th letter. Basically, this last reference to the night of decree is not only the 27th word, but it says it is, and its letters isolate the number 27 right in the middle of its only 2 letters. Furthermore, when we add them together, we get 54. So what does 54 have to do with 27? Well, we got 54 from the 2 letters of the 27th word, and 27 multiplied by 2 equals 54, and if instead we add 2 27s, we also get 54. Because this word has been repeatedly highlighted, we look even closer. When we count the number of words from this word, hiya, till the end of the Quran, we find that they are 486 words. So what could this be? We discover that it is a multiple of 27. 486 equals 27 multiplied by 18. But what about this 18? All of this is from the 27th word in this chapter, and we are amazed to find that its verse is made up of a total 18 letters. That's right, 18 is the number of letters in the verse, and 27 is the order of the word in it from the start of the chapter, which revolves around 27, and 18 multiplied by 27 gives the total number of words after this word till the end of the Quran. This is stunning mathematic harmony. We already mentioned 27 plus 27, but you may ask, why not 27 multiplied by 27? Okay, let's do that. 27 times 27 equals 729. So what is the connection here if indeed the math of the Quran is interconnected? From the beginning of the Quran, the 729th verse is verse number 60 in the chapter Al-Ma'idah. So what else about this verse that connects to 27 besides 27 times 27, which gives its order from the start of the Quran? We count the total number of words in this verse, and shockingly, they are 27. Furthermore, it is verse number 60, which is 30 plus 30, and 30 is the number of words in the chapter about the night of decree and the usual number of days in the month of Ramadan. We said the Quran is a miraculous mathematic code. So since we got to chapter Al-Ma'idah from chapter the decree, and chapter the decree is the 97th chapter, should we also look at the 97th verse in chapter Al-Ma'idah? We do, and amazingly this verse also has 27 words. This is remarkable. The decree is the 97th chapter, and its math takes us to the verse 60 in chapter Al-Ma'idah, which has 27 words, and that link makes us also look at verse 97 in chapter Al-Ma'idah, and it too has 27 words. So what other chapters should we do this with? Because this whole thing is about the revelation of the Quran in the night of decree, as the first verse in the chapter the decree says, and also many others, let's look at the chapter with the most mentions of the word Quran. It turns out to be chapter 17, named Al-Isra. So we go to verse 97 in that chapter, and it turns out to be the longest verse in the chapter. We count the number of words within it, and again, we amazingly get 27. Going deeper, we add the verse number 97 to the chapter number 17, and we get 114, which is the total number of chapters in the Quran. This is amazing. Think about it. The chapter with the most mentions of the word Quran has a verse connected to the night it was revealed in, and together they equal the total number of chapters in the Quran. The miraculous mathematic code continues. Still keeping in mind that the chapter about the night of decree is chapter 97, let's go to the verse number 97, counting from the beginning of the Quran. It is verse 90 in chapter 2 of the Quran. 90 is equal to the number of words in chapter the decree, 30, times the number of times the night of decree is mentioned, 3. Again, the mathematical harmony continues. But what is even more miraculous, and to top it all off, and to confirm that this is not just a random coincidence, we count the total number of words in this verse, and shockingly, they again turn out to be 27. But we are not done yet, and please remember this is all revolving around one theme. Let's look at the first verse to appear in the Quran, which has 27 words in it. It is not that it has 27 words, that's just a thread we are following, but it turns out to be verse number 54 within its chapter. 54, as we said, is 727 plus 27, but also its chapter number is 2, and 2 times 27 is also 54. This is remarkable, and because it's an interconnected code, we can easily get off track following other threads. So let's get back to the chapter about the night of decree. God's name, Allah, is a main key in the mathematics of the Quran. Its letters appear in the chapter the decree 44 times. So what could this number be? We go to chapter 44 in the Quran titled Ad-Dukhan, i.e. the smoke, and we discover that it is the only other chapter in the Quran which also refers to the night of decree. So can we confirm this is not just a coincidence and that it indeed is the right path? The answer is an overwhelming yes, and the two are tightly interconnected. We mentioned that the only other location in the Quran that also addresses the night of decree is in chapter 44, and this mention is in its first 6 verses, where it states that the Quran was revealed on a blessed night, in reference to the night of decree. We are amazed to discover that the total number of letters in those 6 verses is 115, and the total number of letters in chapter the decree is also 115. Because 27 is the dominant number in all of this, we look at the 27th letter in the common Hijai alphabetic order, and it is the letter Waw, which we were amazed by in our previous video. Amazingly, when we count its appearance in the entire chapter 44, it appears 115 times. Furthermore, the number of words in these 6 verses in chapter the smoke is 29, and we said that the total number of words in chapter the decree is 30. The month of Ramadan is usually 30 days, and sometimes it's 29. The harmony of the code is truly endless. So what happens if we add 29 plus 30? This equals 59. Can you guess what this is? Amazingly, 59 is the number of verses in chapter 44. So again, the interconnectedness of the 2 groups of verses in the Quran that mention the night of decree is further emphasized. This mathematical connection is highlighted yet again with the word the Quran, which was revealed on the night of decree. The letters that make up the word the Quran, al-Quran in Arabic, appear 59 times in chapter the decree and 59 times in those 6 verses of chapter the smoke. That's just miraculous. There should not be any more doubt about the strong connection between these 2 groups of verses, and there are many examples, but let's focus on the chapter the decree, and this is what is truly amazing. Chapter the smoke, as we said, is number 44 in the Quran, and its verses are 59, making the sum total of the 2 103. Furthermore, the total number of letters from the start of the chapter the decree up until the end of the last mention of the night of the decree, i.e. the word hiya, which is the 27th word in the chapter, is 103 letters. So twice we see the number 103, but what about it? In previous videos, I mentioned that prime numbers and their order is a main key in Quran mathematics. We realize that 103 is a prime number, and so looking at its order, amazingly, 103 is the 27th prime number. Earlier, we had looked at the letters of the first word in chapter the decree and ended up with 27. So let's look at the first word in the other chapter that mentioned the night of decree. Chapter ad-Dukhan, the smoke, is one of those chapters which starts with the Quran special letters called al-Huruf al-Muqatta'a, which we had mentioned in previous verses. It starts with the 2 letters Ha Mim, with Ha being the 6th letter of the standard Hijai alphabetic order, and Mim is the 24th letter. Their sum is 30, which we have already seen many times, and is the number of days in Ramadan most of the time and the number of words in chapter the decree. Furthermore, the numbers 2 and 24 can be placed together in only 2 ways, either 24 and then 6, or the 6 and then the 24. The total sum of 246 plus 624 equals 870. So does this mean anything? 870 is 29 times 30, and we have already mentioned that the first group of verses has 30 words, while the second group has 29, and that the month of Ramadan is either 30 days and sometimes 29 days. Then, when we count the appearance of these 2 letters, Ha Mim, in both groups of these verses, we get a total of 27. At any point, I could stop and you would have more than enough to think about for a very long time. But staying within this chapter, which is the only other chapter that refers to the night of decree, we find something else. Its reference to the night of decree is in these two words. In Arabic, Laylatun Mubarakah, i.e. a blessed night. Guess how many letters there are from the start of the chapter until its mention? Yes, it comes after 27 letters. We have established that only these two chapters mention the night of decree, and we have seen how they are numerically tightly connected. So we look even closer and realize that the total number of verses in one of them is 5, and the total number of verses in the other is 59. The difference between them again gives us the aforementioned 54, which is 27 plus 27, or if, since they are two chapters, we can also use 27 times 2. And finally, to add my own contribution to all of this, I'll say that when the Quran was revealed on that blessed night, it was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And when we look at the name of the chapter, the decree, in Arabic, Al-Qadr, we notice that the order of its letters in the common Hija'i alphabetic order add up to 63. So the title of the chapter about the night in which the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gives us the age of the Prophet, which is also one of the keys in the Quran's mathematical code as mentioned in previous videos. Subhanallah, this is truly a divine code, and to say there is much more is an understatement. For every age, the Quran stands as a miracle, and after its linguistic challenge went unanswered, and after all the scientific miracles we have discovered so far spoke to the last generation, now this generation of computers must stand and bear witness to its mathematical code. All of what we have mentioned has revolved around the number 27 in a miraculous way, which indicates that we must go further with this number. So if you haven't already seen it, do follow number 27 to our previous video, episode 3. I promise that following this thread will leave you even more amazed and speechless. You definitely do not want to miss out on episode 3. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share, and until next time, Assalamu alaikum.